start playing some Oracle of Ages songs in the background. Hopefully not too loud, but we will start with our live screen here. All right. What's up, guys? I'm the Nerdy Ginger. Welcome to something a little bit different. We just finished the 3-heart challenge for Oracle of Ages. So to celebrate that, I wanted to show off this awesome Oracle of Ages Minecraft recreation that I worked on years ago. I'll just have me from the past talk about it, honestly. Let me grab this thing. This old warp scroll that will help us out. What's up, guys? I'm the Nerdy Ginger. I'm this map's creator. I made an Oracle of Seasons recreation back in 2018. We will get to that eventually. A few years later, I got the itch again to do Oracle of Ages. I've been working on this on and off since January 2021, finally completing in October 2023 with over 200 hours of in-game time working on it. Hope you enjoy this 3D tour around one of my favorite game worlds. Still running on those remakes, Nintendo, which is still true, and that is infuriating. Oh yeah, Spencer's here with us today. He's going to be doing some shiny hunting for Charmander in the Pokemon Fire Red re-release. So, if you
I'm
hear
still going from the last time I was on stream. I'm
3,300. So if you hear him scream in the background, that's him finding a shiny. So all the more reason to stick around to not watch that, but to hear his reaction. So yeah, I don't
believe I helped you with this one at all either. I think I only helped you in Seasons.
No, you did nothing. So I don't know why you're here. You're here because you're my friend and I like talking to you. Believe it or not. So yes, we're going to have the game here, and I did want to also have some pictures on the side here to kind of compare with what we're going to look at, and I'm just going to kind of step through the game as if we are basically from where we start. It's like this is where we spawn in. I'm going to set the time to set today. So we're basically like right over here. I guess you can't see my... Oh, you can see my mouse. Hell yeah. Okay. So we're basically right over here at where you spawn in at the beginning of the map. This is where you would see like some monkeys, and you would like I think you would like meet up with like Impa over here. And this is that famous rock that you can put that you have to push past. This thing over here. This is where things get kind of fun of like having to decide like the elevation of how all these things go, because with all of these hills and stuff that you have to work with, that was probably one of the most interesting challenges of this map, is just figuring out when I need to start elevating things around. So I think this is where you would actually end up seeing like I think this is where you would end up seeing like Nehru doing her dance with like the animals, and you'd first meet her. And then over here would basically be like her house. So this is like where you would get the Harp of Ages eventually. Yes, there's a clock on the wall with the this is like the Poke clock texture from like the Trading Quest. Obviously, we've got this awesome Oracle of Seasons resource pack that I stole from people with their permission. That's not stealing,
well,
but you know what I mean.
Modified it a little bit though.
I did, especially for like some of the very specific textures for like the dungeons. So this is like where you would get like the Harp of Ages. I don't have the maps on me for like how you would I don't have the maps on me for like all the insides of the houses, because that was like pictures that I had to take while actually playing through like 100% save file. So if you guys saw like during my streams of like those extra files that I had, that was me downloading 100% save files, so I could literally step through them. So I could literally step through them and see what all the things of the game looked like on the inside. I think with that, we'll kind of step over to like the Lina City. This is the Lina City area. So like here's like one of the initial shops that has like this little secret basement spot. I don't know what this spot is because I am so bad at doing side quests in this game in particular for some reason. So I actually don't, surprisingly not very familiar with like a lot of the side content and areas in this game. So like every single house is going to have like these, it's like these execute command blocks in it. So that's like the only thing that you really have to worry about with this game. It's like, yeah, you need to make sure that command blocks are enabled. Bro, check out this sick loft, bro. Check out this sick loft with this bed. So I guess this is a way to see how like everything in the houses is considered like a 2x2 scale. So every like square is considered a 2x2 square when you're in a house, and that already makes these things seem pretty spacious. But then on the outside, that kind of expands to a 3x3. So like this square right here is going to be like a 3x3 square outside here. How did I do on the
1x1 scale is just way too tiny.
I mean, I could see it might have worked for the inside of dungeons.
Maybe interiors,
Maybe.
but like the outside world, it was way too tiny.
How'd I do on this? How'd I do on this mermaid statue? That was iffy. You're limited in the amount of blocks. There's a lot more pixels here to work with.
That one video you sent me the other day, someone was wondering what that was. I skipped to a random part in the video, and they're like, "What the heck is this?"
That was actually kind of crazy. I might have to shout them out. Like somebody else looking through this map. And we've got the Oracle of Ages soundtrack going in the background. It's about as quiet as I can get it, so let me know if it's too loud. If you guys want me to turn it down. We'll explore a couple of more houses, but then we'll probably try to focus more on the more interesting spots of this. I guess we can get a view of the outside of the Black Tower. So this is really interesting, actually, because like obviously on the map here, you really only see the front of it. But there are like cutscenes later in the game that show what this actually looks like from the bottom to the top. So I don't have a picture of that on me, but you can definitely look it up and see like how I built this one. I do think I slightly messed it up though. Like I think this hexagon is like slightly bigger on one side. So like what, 1, 2, 3, 4 there. 1, 2, 3, maybe. I know what I'm pretty sure one of these hexagons is like incorrect, like not quite scaled right. It's hard for me to tell, which is probably good enough, but
it probably is, yeah.
I know it's messed up somewhere, which is aggravating me, but I think it turned out pretty good. I think it looks pretty darn cool, which helps that it's just all black.
I can see it in the video. It's the top section where it gets a little bit lighter gray. If you look at those pillars on the left of it,
1, 2, 3, 4 divots in here. Right. 1, 2, 3. There's still 4 divots, maybe. Oh, okay. Yeah, now I can kind of see it. This side here, 1, 2, 3 divots there. 1, 2, 3, 4 divots there. Okay, so maybe at least it was higher up, or it's harder to tell from there. I'm gonna turn off the clouds actually. So let's
Yeah, who uses clouds in Minecraft?
I don't know. Oh, this is the sound of me dying. That's cool. How about let's check out basically the first little mini dungeon, which is like the Maku Path area. So this is where I did most of the retexturing. This is gray terracotta. I actually don't know if it looks like that, because I think this might have been used in another dungeon. So I wonder if I retextured this a little bit too early. So this is where you kind of run in and do some puzzles. Can you burn these down? Danger, danger. These might be things that you can burn down. I'm not sure what these are supposed to be, actually. Actually, I don't think you do much in the present. I also cannot believe that I kept this this little rock texture with the yellow background.
No.
Yeah.
I
don't know. I think I tried to redo it at some point to make it look a little bit better, and I could not figure it out, but whatever.
Maybe you could have just used like cobblestone or something.
I suppose, but I wanted to distinguish it as something that you could lift, even though you can't actually play this game. Look at the beautiful Maku tree, which I will say, some of the help that like Nick did on Oracle of Seasons did make its way in here. Like he designed the trees, and I just pasted those in from the Oracle of Seasons map. And I'm pretty sure I also copy pasted the old man Maku tree and just made it more girly looking. So he did help in a way.
Easter eggs?
I think there were ways to enter it in the game. Did I not put that in? Oh shit, I might have forgot to actually put that thing in. Because there's supposed to be this little hole in there, and I never actually did that. Huh. Well, screw me, I guess. I'm a terrible developer. I'm so sorry. So I think with this, actually, we don't even go to the past quite yet. So I believe the next area that we would... no, I did not mean to scroll into the past yet. Is we're actually going to scroll over here into the graveyard. Oh, yeah, I think this was something, actually, where I tried... There was some sort of mod, actually, that could have, like, changed the biome in such a way that I could, like, change how things are colored in certain areas, but I just could not figure it out. So I kept this all the default color. I think I did. Did I change the biome in here? End Midlands. So I think I did change the biome in here slightly. Yeah, deep ocean to end Midland. So it does change the sky a little bit. How about this? Time set. We'll change it back to day later, but for the sake of the mood, we'll turn it to nighttime over here in the graveyard. So these are like these little happy face trees. There's definitely no way I could get an actual face on these with 4 blocks. So this is kind of the closest that we could get to. This is kind of like...
The only other solution would be like item frames and maps, but then you'd have a lot of those.
I suppose I could do that. Can you not scratch my carpet, please, cat? Thank you. She looked at me all guilty. She knew she wasn't supposed to do that.
Yeah, you definitely could do a 2x2 of maps, but...
Yeah, that definitely could have worked. I wonder if I just didn't know that existed at the time or not, or if I was just too... No, I probably knew it existed and I was just too lazy.
Nah, because we'd been working on Voxel for a while up to that point and did map stuff.
Maybe I just didn't think it was important enough. Check out this little detached staircase. Because that's how it looked. That's how it looks in the Oracle games, man. It's just a little staircase that goes nowhere. So we kind of scroll over here. This is where you would use like the first key to access the rest of the area. Oh hell yeah! Here's like the little witch's hut. Here's a little cauldron over here. She'd be selling us some potions. And then we're gonna way down. See, you can kind of see here how this is where we have like an example of like the wall here, and this is how I would figure out like what the right elevation was supposed to be. So I'd like constantly be counting up from like the lowest points on the map to see how high each section was supposed to be. I don't remember where I actually started, to be fair. I might have done Crescent Island first for all I know. Actually, I think that is where I started.
I assume you started somewhere in the ocean.
Yeah, I did Crescent Island first, and then I probably would have done the graveyard in the city. And I'm pretty sure I finished with the other side of the ocean with the Zora area. So then this would actually be the first dungeon, the Spirit's Grave. This is where, like, I do think it could have been nice to do this in a 1x1, because it does seem a little bit spacious here. Especially if we did want to get to the point where this was, like, playable. It might be easier to push a 1x1 block than it is to push a 2x2.
I mean, it definitely would be.
I'll probably skip through most of this in Spectator, and we'll probably spend a little bit more time on some of the later dungeons, but here you can kind of see this is going to be like this third room, like over here, where you can like push that block into the torches. I don't know how the hell I would make this playable to see the right color on all sides. I guess it probably would have to be a map thing, but then I have no clue how that would work, honestly, where it has 4 different colors on all sides without making this absolutely massive block. I do not know how that would be possible.
Yeah, you just use item frames.
Hey, look, it's a map of the dungeon right here. That's crazy. That shows where keys and shit is. I think this Armo statue is supposed to be marking where the boss is in the dungeon, or that's where we are. It's beautiful. Any other kind of interesting spots in the dungeon? I do like when the dungeon gets a little bit more open like this, where you can see more into the rooms, actually. And now we actually got the Dungeon 1 theme going, finally. So now we got the proper theme going. I will say, unfortunately, the boss rooms are probably one of the less interesting stuff, since it's basically just open room with gold. So we could at least skip up to where this is where the where we're gonna gather like our plot MacGuffins. Oh look, there's more dungeons down there. Hello, you got a plot MacGuffin. You got the Eye of Ender. That's totally what this thing is in here. Appreciate that. So that is the first dungeon though. Boop, 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 boop. Where the heck are we? I need to figure out how to get out of here. Actually, now we'll just come up through the surface. I think next up. Oh geez, I still got a random structure block in here. What the hell? Oh, I guess it's still surrounding the entrance room that I didn't realize. That's cool. I just never deleted that. And I also ran into a random house. That's hilarious. Okay. Let's time set this. Let's time set this guy back to day. Even though it's still going to be kind of creepy. Game mode creative. The next area, I do think that we start this. We do start this in the present, and I think around this time might be where we actually do get like the Harp of Ages. So we'll check out basically I think this isn't the forest of time. This is like this is the fairies forest over here. Where it's kind of like a mini Lost Woods actually, where if I have no clue how the hell I would recreate that either. Cuz it's like it's one of those things where it's like, okay, you can walk off a screen. If you go back this way, you'll go to a different screen. If you go back this way again, you'll go to a different screen. And you can just like go back and forth over and over again. Why did my short grass get fucked up? It's not the right color. Huh. I guess I am in 1.20.4. This is 1.20.2, so maybe I broke it slightly. I slightly broke the color of the grass.
Yeah, that looks just like default Minecraft grass.
But the tall grass is fine, so what gives? Weird. Oh, this is like the Dancing Dragon dungeon theme. Okay, this spot's really weird actually. Of like the trees up here. So I basically have like a descent into the forest from here, and then it's basically just like a wall of trees up to this wall, since that's just how tall that was. That was certainly a decision I made. Is that the right decision? I guess what's also kind of interesting now that we're at the edge of the map is that I basically did make this an island, almost kind of like Koholint Island, even though I don't think canonically this is an island. Like, I don't think there's necessarily has to be water on the side here. That's just kind of just how I built it, kind of similar to how Link's Awakening works, so interesting, I guess. I think next, let's get that Labrina Warp Scroll. I gotta make sure I don't lose one of these, so we'll get a nice big stack of them. What the hell? This was working earlier. Spencer, why'd you break my Warp Scroll?
I couldn't. I'm not even in your world.
This is all your fault, Spencer. It was literally working yesterday. Huh. Well, that's annoying.
Well, what version did you load the map in yesterday? Was it a different version than when you loaded it in today?
No, it wasn't. Well, we might just have to TP here. We might just have to go to the past manually. We'll start exploring the past again. So now we're gonna be in. This is the point. Actually, we do this pretty early. Now I think about it. Actually, we just warp. Actually, like in the first section of the game, we do just like warp back here, but we don't have the Harp of Ages yet, so we can't do it. We can't do it of our own free will. So we'll show off a small We'll show off like a small handful of the houses. We'll get to the Black Tower eventually, and we'll get to the castle eventually. Yeah, I don't think the castles are particularly I don't think like the houses are particularly interesting. But we do have a slightly different version of the forest that I think does become a little bit more of a maze, where you do have to like, I mean, we kind of can walk through the trees here, but like in the actual game, you would like, within the actual game, you would have to like go through, like they would be completely blocked. You can kind of see here that it's like fully blocked through here. But for some of these, we can walk through because I didn't decide to put barriers everywhere technically. And I think to actually get around, to actually get around, you would need to go through some of these caves. So let's say where this guy pops out. So at this point in the game, we actually don't even have the you don't even have the opportunity to jump actually. But I think we can jump off these platforms. Jump around this little maze. I'm guessing there's probably some enemies trying to fight us up here. Then we pop out here. Actually, this is back at the begin. This is back at the beginning of the area. I'm like getting turned around because like I'm not used to seeing this area from facing that way, but that's the way that we're walking, so that's kind of just the way it works out. But like, hey, this is like where you would get like this is like where you would get the mystery seeds. And looks like I actually forgot to put the owl here. Shit, I forgot something else. Jeez, now that I'm realizing this and going through the map one by one, man, that's crazy.
Yeah. Just hit encounter 3,333.
Actually, you wouldn't go through the entire thing at this point. You would see part of the castle. You would see part of the castle at this point in the game. But we can also see Dungeon 2, which is the wing dungeon. See, this is what the owl thing was supposed to look like. So this is just this little block with eyeballs. It's absolutely beautiful. So let's take a look around in the old spectator mode. So we're going to be in this room over here just so you guys can kind of get your bearings. This is where we can kind of start getting a little bit of elevation, getting a little bit claustrophobic on this thing. There was, I didn't even see it. So these would be blocks that you could actually like push out of the way. And this is one of the other kind of awkward pieces of having a 2x2 scale is with these minecarts, because I still wanted it to take up the full space.
Oh yeah.
Here's like the little traffic light thing that you got to jump over. I mean, that turned out good. I don't know how you would do that any better, honestly. So I'll give myself credit on that one. This is supposed to be a key block. If we did make this playable, I would have to absolutely make this look different from anything at all. Okay, so that is the official boss room actually, where you can fall down through the hole. No, wait, is that the mini boss? Yeah. Okay, this is the actual boss room. I think. I don't remember.
You just played it like 5 weeks ago.
Wait, it goes there? Wait, wait, that's where you catch it. It goes up. Oh, it's the Thwomp guy. That's right. This is the mini boss. This is the mini boss where you can like fall, where you're supposed to be able to like fall through the ceiling. I mean, there's no holes by default in the room, which is why there isn't one. But it is directly above, so like if we did make this playable, I absolutely could connect these rooms, and I probably should have anyway. Are we back? We back. You hear me, Spoon?
I can hear ya.
I've been having issues where like my computer just decides, fuck you, I don't recognize this mic. just had to plug and unplug it. Beautiful technical issues.
Weird.
Actually, this is the first area that has these underground spots, so let me actually see if I can find...
Oh, the 2D sections?
Yeah. Where am I?
Yeah, you definitely gotta show those off. You gotta find the boss one.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to find it, because I think the entrance is over on this side, I believe.
Curious to know if you actually built like a little blocky version of it in there or not.
I do not think I did. Yeah, this is the spot. Okay. So here's the spot, like over here. So we basically just went through the nightmare door here. He's gonna tell you how to do it. And then we're facing up. Yeah, I put the little spinny platforms in. So like here's the boss room. So I put the spinny platforms in. I did not build the Thwomp guy.
Wait, what?
Because I was lazy. And to be fair, I didn't build any of the other bosses either.
Yeah, that's true. I guess it would have been out of place.
I think for most of these 2D sections, I think for most of the 2D sections, I don't know if I made them this wide. I want to say that I made most of the 2D sections a little bit thinner than this. Although, that should mean that these guys are right next to each other, actually. Yeah, the other 2D sections I made thinner, but I guess I figured the boss room we would need a little bit more space if I did ever build that out. It's like this is what those old 2D sections look like down here. Hell yeah. That is the old dungeon too. I'm so sorry that I can't teleport out of here. I will say that I think at this point of the game, actually, I guess right before the dungeon, actually, we would get a preview of Queen Ambi's palace. I think we go in there for a little bit to base... The queen of the country gives us bombs. That makes perfect sense. They let me do a terrorism. I forget at which point in the game that you actually come in, like you're required to come in here and do an actual fight. But this is like where you would like have to like sneak around all the guards, press these buttons, and it would then open up the path here so that you could get into the castle. So this might not be quite in the appropriate order. Oh, okay, so this must be after the 6th dungeon actually, because we're actually diving under here. So at this point you would have like the mermaid suit. These are supposed to be my recreation of whirlpools using barrier blocks that look like guineas, the little ghost enemies. And these are all connected too. There was no teleports to this spot, and I kept these caves a little bit dark. But then that actually takes us up into the castle. That does take us through the front door. So we are seeing this spot a little bit early. Why did I do it like this? I did a weird check. There must have been something weird with like the checker pattern that I was kind of messing with. It's like between the rooms I have like a straight line of things. Maybe it was just like a weirdness with like how they alternate and just how many blocks wide that I was using. Because like if I did it like this, but that's fine. Why did I do it like that? Why did I do it like that? I don't know.
Maybe you just, I don't know, yeah. Maybe you just forgot to fix it or something.
I swear that I'm like, it's like ringing a bell in my head, making me think that this was a problem. I think it wasn't quite lined up correctly. Here's right before the Queen Ambi boss room. You'd fight her in here and she's jumping around. You have to shoot her with the old mystery seeds. This is a totally realistic castle and not just a video game level, guys. It's underwater. It's under the world with. I guess it is at least under the castle somewhat. So there we go. So it's almost a realistic depiction. All right. What area is next? That's going to be Crescent Island, which is actually going to be the first area that I did. Now, I forget whether you start this in the present or the past. Well, I meant to do time set day. That's what I should have done. You know, we'll do it in the daytime since that's what I have open. Or the past, I should say. The present. Oh my god. Time set day. Thank you. Ah, the depressing sound of Symmetry City when it's all burned down. So I think this is one where you like, yeah, this is one where you like get on a raft. Yeah, oh, this is from the, yeah, you do start this in the past actually. So actually, let me do that first then. Let's go here in the past. Bonk. I wish I knew. I should know like the teleportation, like how long, how many blocks are in between. So what I was gonna say is, I think at this point in the game, you basically visit the guy in here, who builds you this raft. Since this is before you can swim. And then you get like caught in a storm up here, you wash up on Crescent Island, and you get all your shit stolen by Tokays. Then you get to go on this lovely time-traveling journey where you try to get all your stuff back. It's like, alright, I'm going to push this thing over here so that eventually will grow up. And you're still trying to make your way around the island such that you can get all your stuff back. And all the caves in here are going to be recreated. So I think this stuff you can kind of just break through with once you have your sword, and there's a guy hiding in here somewhere. So okay, so yeah, like I'm kind of trying to reproduce the path that I would take in this game. So I think this is where you would like plant one of the trees over here, I think, that would eventually grow so that you could get seeds again. Whole bunch of caves over here. And I think this is where like the bulk of the Tokay would live. Maybe not this cave, but I know there's like mini game caves somewhere in here that might be in the present. Random chickens were in here if I recall correctly. Ah, yes, this is the mini game where you have to throw meat at the passing Tokays. That would have been interesting if I had. That would have been interesting if I had like put more NPCs into this map. I think this is the shop where you would end up having to buy or trade some of your stuff back. So then, if we take this back to the present, thankfully, I guess this place isn't like absolutely massive. But here's again how it looks in the present, which is pretty similar. But you can see like the tree that grew that I think he actually had to plant at some point. This is one of my favorite areas of the game, though. Actually, like they had like a similar concept in like one of the Skyward Sword missions where you lose all your stuff and have to like find the right way to get it back based off of whatever tool you can get first. That opens up what things you can do after that, and I think that's actually really cool.
I mean, they had something kind of like that in Breath of the Wild, where you go to that one island, you lose all your stuff, but you're not necessarily getting it back. You just have to start from zero. But it was, kind of similar vibes though.
You do enter this dungeon in the present. So this is Moonlit Grotto, and I think like this is when the dungeons like actually start to get pretty damn good. Because I think this is where we first introduce things like the little turntable things. So if I head up into the right over here, you can see that I do retexture all of the terracotta to look like the walls in these dungeons. That's like the main modifications that I make. So this is like what the little turntable thing looks like. They all start blue, so I don't have like a orange version that I can show. But this would be a very fun mechanic to try to figure out how to do. And
it's probably easier than you think.
And at some point we do... It might not be maybe on the map it might show it how it is by default. Yeah, because at some point this turntable actually gets dropped down to the lower part of the dungeon, and I think this map just shows it what it looks like when it was eventually dropped. I do like the way that it makes this area look though, because this spot in the dungeon makes it look super open with all the elevation changes and stuff. So I thought that was pretty cool how this area turned out actually. We're still on the first floor, but we'll kind of head around and try to find the boss room. I think I'm a little bit too low. Hey, look, a random ass cave. I don't know how you get to that, but there it is. Yeah, this is where the dungeons do start getting pretty darn memorable to me. Actually, oh wait, I'm on the wrong floor. Here I am. So I was actually on the top floor here. Yeah. It's probably the most interesting spot in here. So then right below us here is going to be where the boss room is. That hag witch that you have to like shoot stuff off of the walls and bounce it back. I didn't have enough blocks to retexture this part of the floor to be diamond. The only texture I have for that is like a blue. There's like a purple version of that. What's in this chest? Nothing. I didn't put anything in that chest because I was fucking lazy. Amazing. Yeah, this is definitely where Oracle dungeons start to hit their stride, and I really dig them. Yeah, so here we are on the bottom floor. I think this would just be a pit initially. Sweet. I believe the song that's playing right now is actually Symmetry City when it's not blown to hell and back, and that's going to be the next area that we're going to go to as we start heading towards the Dancing Dragon dungeon. Yeah, so this is gonna be where the elevation starts to get crazy. I do want to start this in the past, actually. In the past. I haven't heard from you, Spencer, in a while, which makes it sound like you still have not gotten your shiny Charmander.
Oh no, I haven't. I'm at 3354, which roughly 40, a little over 40% odds of having encountered it.
What's the number again? 8,000.
8,192.
What 800? Why was I thinking 396 for some reason? I don't know. So let's see. At this point in the game, I think yeah, this is the path that you would end up heading up. To basically, we're gonna try to get to Symmetry City. I think this spot you probably need like some of your switch hook. Oh, this was fucking weird. Oh my god. So wait. So you have this spot here with all of these bricks. And I think this is where I started having to take a lot of liberties with the elevation, where it didn't quite add up. Yeah, because like, look at this here. So we have this wall where like, I think basically all the walls, I make them like, what, 7 tall? So I do like 2 blocks for the initial so that you can't immediately jump on it. 3, 4, 5, kind of 6, 7 to the top. And you can kind of see from looking at the sprites here that just based off of the distance of pixels that you see here, these walls would have to be the exact same height. Or actually, this wall and this wall and this wall. But that doesn't track because there's also this part, which is way larger than both of them combined. So maybe what I should have done is maybe for this flat area, I should have made this a little bit more hilly. No. If I had made this more hilly and then got up to here, you'd basically be able to just... You'd be able to, like, walk onto this side of the wall, which it does not look right at all to me. So, like, if I had, like, made this area, like, diagonal such that it, like, started ascending a little bit more naturally, you'd just be able to walk on top of this wall. So I took a little bit of creative liberties here, where I kept this area flat, and then had this ladder going up to the stairs. So if they're gonna cheat with their 2D game design, there's not much I can do if I want to make this 3D correctly. Fix it in the remakes, damn it.
Well, I mean, they'd have to, because that's what they did in Link's Awakening remake, is they added all the slopes in there.
Yeah, they did that a little bit, and they might have just made some of the walls just go straight up higher.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit interesting when I'm trying to make this line up exactly with how it does in the 2D map. So that was one of the fun challenges with making this.
And it was the same issue with Seasons too. I remember.
Yeah.
Like having that issue in Subrosia.
Which you did help with.
I mean, I think I built pretty much all of that.
Actually, where the hell do I even go in this? Is this the point where I do have to like start switching back and forth? Also, what the hell did I do to this thing? That is so weird. I guess because like, oh yeah. Oh, this is one of the most... This is actually a very interesting spot. So, like... As you see here, we have what's called Restoration Wall. Which, obviously, it's climbing up vines. So, like, if we were to make this in 3D, clearly that's supposed to be, like, a straight up... going straight up climb. But on a 2D map, that's taking up, like, horizontal distance. So, to kind of do something different with that, I basically had to expand this flat part. Yeah, because like here's like the sign that would end right here. And then like a little bit of flat area before the vines. But then if I had gone straight up from there, it just wouldn't make sense. So I had to extend this out. And then you'd be able to climb up to the wall this way. And that also means I had to like do some weird expansion on this cave over here that kind of just ends flat and flush with the wall. Like, yeah. That was interesting. That was interesting. One of the fun challenges, which I'll say that a lot. Check out some more of this area that you have to teleport through. This is definitely where you're getting to the point in the game where you have to switch back and forth in time a lot in order to even get from like platform to platform. Because like some of these platforms just like straight up are not connected in the present. But like this is also where you get Symmetry City that starts off completely like destroyed and covered in lava. This is where this is where the volcano's like erupting and shit. I mean, you can still go into a bunch of the houses though. Like people still live here for some reason. They're not all dead. But the dungeon is not here yet. We would have to go back to the present. And check out that big old mountain. Where's the map in that spot? Actually... oh yeah, actually I think you have to go through the past first, actually. Into an area that I think is like oddly way more elevated. I think this side in the past is like way more elevated in the present than it is in the past, actually, which is kind of weird. But I also had to make it level with where Symmetry City ended up being, so interesting. Although, actually, the funny part about this area, Spencer, is this is one of the areas that actually changes based off of which of the 3 animal buddies you get. Like, do you remember, like, the bear, kangaroo, and, like, the triceratops guy?
Honestly, I don't.
But, like, you use them throughout the game, and depending on what you do, you get, like, one of them permanently that you can call at your will. And based off of that, this entire area will change layout to suit their abilities. So
oh wow.
So I want to say the default map is for Ricky, which I think is the kangaroo guy who can like kind of jump up these steeper slopes. So that would be an interesting thing too, if like if we ever tried to recreate this in 3D, or if we ever wanted to make this like creatable and like playable in Minecraft, we would have to change the entire world map, which would be very, very noticeable from any point below this. Might have to be some creative liberties there. Where, sorry, bro, you just gotta use Ricky for this section. Sorry, unless you want to see like a giant chunk of the world just change randomly when you get a flute. That makes perfect sense, guys. So I decided to go with what the default was. Symmetry City, Lord, look at this is gonna be. Take a note of this house. Take a note of this house. It's gonna be the exact same, but flipped on the other side, because everything must be in perfect balance. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. We're actually playing the credits theme right now, even though there's like. Why are we playing the credits theme when I'm 43 minutes in? I guess it's the Oracle of Age season soundtrack too. So this is where we can finally get into the Dancing Dragon dungeon, which probably has one of the best dungeon themes in this game, actually. It actually sounds pretty darn epic, and is good theme too, because like it's a proper lava dungeon. It's a couple of more open rooms that aren't just complete squares. So let's take a peek around here. Ah, beautiful Mabel's theme. This is the yeah. There's a lot. Yeah, there's actually a lot more kind of open floor plan looking rooms because of all of this. Because of these like elevated spots of the dungeon that you traverse the bottom path of it, and then you get to later parts of the dungeon where you somehow get onto these upper paths. I can't see this point where you actually climb onto it, but I want to say it's like after one of the mini bosses, perhaps. Check out this beautiful color puzzle. And we got more minecarts. Always gotta love the minecarts. I think this was a dungeon that I was actually kind of surprised was a lot more linear than you'd think it would be with how... Because there's a lot of freaking rooms in this dungeon. I think there's more rooms in this dungeon than at least maybe the next dungeon, as far as I can tell. But it did turn out to be pretty darn linear. Let's see. There's like hella lava rooms over on this side. I think this is one where you have to like. Oh, this is where yeah, because this is the dungeon where you like get the switch hook. So you're able to like switch back and forth, and you're jumping across these platforms to try to get to finish off where you were. And the dungeon, surprisingly enough, is indeed shaped like a skull. Now we're not showing off every single room. Here's some of the 2D sections with like the pots that you have to jump over. I think you actually come through this way if I remember correctly. Oh, hi, command blocks. I forgot to fill that hole, apparently. Cool. You can tell this is a solo project. I did not catch everything. I am so sorry. That's another dungeon. Where's the bottom floor? I need to find... you gotta find the boss room. You gotta find the boss room. Here we are. We're in this little blue section over here. This last little bit of the lava puzzle that leads into one of our 2D sections. I got lost. No, it's fine. You guys can explore some of this on your own, but it is kind of cool to see just this deep, dank lava dungeon that I would love to play this in 3D. But I do not have the time.
As would I.
So next up, I believe, is Rolling Ridge. Again, I do forget whether you start this in the past or not. But this is where we get to start meeting all the Gorons.
Yay, my favorite Zelda race.
Actually, I do think that we start this. I do think we start this in the past, actually, because I can see that there isn't really a path to get up there.
I don't know why, but I've always just loved the Gorons.
I like them. They're fun. They're literally our bros.
The Rock Bros.
Oh yeah, that's right. Actually, like all the so I'm looking at the present map again. Somehow the entire world changed from this low-lying castle in the past to in the present being this absolutely massive mountain area. That is like some cataclysmic super small earthquake that happened to raise a mountain.
It's called tectonic plates.
Yes, indeed.
That's how mountains are formed. So there must be a fault line there.
A really fucked up fault line. Like, my God. That's only 100 years, too. It created a mountain in 100 years. That's not how that works.
Oh, yeah. No, they don't show up that quick. That takes millions of years.
Is this why it hasn't been remade? Because, oh, God, we got to deal with some really crazy video game logic and time travel shit.
Maybe.
Ah, bloody hell. This is where the frickin' Goron chieftain gets crushed by a rock and survives. We aren't gonna go through every single cave, because they're definitely the least interesting parts of the map. But it is kind of fun to work your way up, and hey, we popped up somewhere else in the overworld. I think this is where we get either Gale Seeds or Pegasus Seeds. I forget which one.
Does the tree not? Did you not color code the tree?
I did, but both Gale Seeds and Pegasus Seeds are blue.
Oh, yeah.
Some more interesting sides of the mountains over here with Goron faces on them. This is supposed to be the sideway-looking hurt face Goron. Why it's painted like that, I don't know. Also, this is an annoying as hell song that's going on. I think we only really get to see this part of it in the pat at least before the fifth dungeon, I should say. So we will come back here in the present. I think I got the final boss themes going right now. One of Varen's themes. Then we basically end up exploring the other half of the mountain before the sixth dungeon. So here's like, oh yeah, because here's like the little Moblin hideout person as well. Unfortunately, I couldn't make this blue. There's just not enough blocks to work with. Oh yeah, you get the Pegasus Seeds actually, because this is what lets you run super fast through here. I thought this would send you somewhere. Did I never do that? Also, why did this ladder go to nowhere? Why did I do it like that? That was a mess up. But this is where you kind of have like a little mini boss fight of like these guys throwing bombs at you, so that you can eventually get the bomb flowers and save the Goron that's trapped under a rock. Eventually gives you all the keys that you need. And some of these this is a very interesting area, but at the same time, it is one of the most difficult areas, I think, to go through. Oh, wait. Oh, I did something interesting. I did some creative liberties here, too, actually. Because you have this Moblin hideout thing, and then you blow it up, and that opens the path to the rest of the area. So instead, I just stuck the cave on the side here so that you can still explore it. Yeah. Because that's actually basically what lets you get into level 5 Crown Dungeon. Which this dungeon's one of my favorites, actually. I don't see a whole lot of people liking it, but I kind of like the blue color scheme. And this is actually where the dungeons finally get super non-linear. Like at one point, I probably had like 3 or 4 different keys on me.
Oh wow!
Because this is the dungeon that has like the red and blue switches that can like raise and lower these things, and that does help to make this super non-linear and fun to traverse through. Doesn't necessarily look the most interesting, but I really enjoy this dungeon. Obviously, it's shaped like a beautiful crown, and I think if we come up this way. This area looks like one really big open room. I mean, yeah, it's a bunch of stuff blocked. But this is where you're kind of like constantly walking around. You can see exactly where like all of the switches are. You can jump on top of it to start walking on top of the switches. That's actually an intentional part of this dungeon, which I find very fun. Yeah, screw the boss room. Who needs it? It's just a crappy open floor. But this does I guess this was a cool thing that I realized that I did in a lot of spots is and this is a testament to the Capcom's design, actually, is they actually did set it up so like I think pretty much all of the stairs between these dungeons, as long as they don't go to like a 2D section, actually line up. So like this area, so like we're at these stairs here in L, and that drops right down, looks like to here. So you can actually lay these maps on top of each other, and they will line up correctly.
That's cool.
So like this is gonna be stair K, so that should go back. Actually, where does that go? Does that go to a 2D sec? Does that go to a 2D section? It does. But I forgot to close this area. Sweet. This is probably a weird me doing fill commands and then forgetting to finish things off. So this one does take us up to a 2D area, which then will connect. If I did it correctly. There's actually more broken shit in this than I thought. Damn. That's on me, I guess. This is why I should have actually tried this out beforehand. Yeah. Where are the command blocks? Where are the command blocks? I'm so sorry.
Los bloques.
I'm so sorry, people. I am a bad developer that I did not PQA this map, bro. You should be absolutely ashamed of me, and you should all unsubscribe right now.
That'll be fair.
Unsubscribe from this channel. Unsubscribe from this channel that I created in 2025 or something because of a map I did in 2023. Look, it's spikes. End rods are spikes that are blocking you. It's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty much what you did before Voxel 2.0.
This is true. I think I
reprogrammed Voxel into functions.
Oh, geez, we're all the way in the back of the area now. You were working on it at this point, though. Was I helping you on and off on this? Because I think it might have been like, a thing where I was like, I want to finish this project before I help you with Voxel 2.0, but I want to.
Well, I think, because I basically spent a year like I think it was like
Board editor mode,
2022,
yeah.
starting kind of around 2022 when I reprogrammed all of Voxel Party into function. Well, all of the base mechanics into functions, and then I kind of implemented the board editor feature as well. And then I think I released that like September of that year or something, or the next year, and then it just kind of sat for a little bit until we kind of decided to do the merger.
I want to say that
2024, I believe.
Yeah, I still want to say that
that
you were working on this, and maybe I did. Oh god, what the hell happened here? No, I guess that is what this is supposed to be. Look, this little minecart game in here. So this is the other side of the rolling ridge that you would end up exploring.
I saw heart piece.
I know, they're bloody massive. This is a piece of heart, guys. I mean, it was literally on the map, although I am in the present. I am in the present, actually. So we'll come back here in the past, because I'm actually going to show... Actually, you do the past first. Yeah, because that does affect the future, actually. Because this is the point of it. This is the point where you get to the Mermaid's Cave. Mermaid's Cave. We will go to the past, where there is... This is the only dungeon where there is a past and a present version of the dungeon.
That's cool. I mean, I don't remember like anything about this game because I only ever played it once, like many years ago.
And you're just waiting. You want to play it again, but you're just waiting for remakes. Yeah, here we go. Now we got the Goron theme going. Is this where we do the dance? Yeah, this is where the Goron dance happens. Hell yeah. The famous minigame that everybody absolutely loves.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think that's one thing I do remember, and I do remember hating it. Because I think there was also a version of it in, like, Subrosia in the other game that...
yeah.
I hated, too. Like the pirate hideout or whatever it was.
So let's see. So this would be... You would use the new mermaid key on this. Because it was new. So you get to go behind the waterfall, which is a fun little way that this turns out in here. Into the past version of the Mermaid's Cave. Oh, I did download it. Sweet. So this is the interesting one where I think one of the main things that you end up having to do in here is like open up like this whole side of the wall. So it looks like oh my gosh, I didn't put any light. I didn't put like any lighting on this side. Interesting, because I think this is the spot where this wall might I think one of the walls might like there might be like a giant wall in the way that's kind of blocking you, and it's blocking you in the past too. Or we're in the past right now, and it's blocking you in the present. And then you can get to the point where you are actually able to dive down. What's up, Happy Beastie? I'm like just now seeing your chats. What's up, Nerdy Ginger? Been watching you since the Star Crystal Let's Play series. Hell yeah, dude. Thank you. I'm realizing that is probably the new version of the new Star Crystal live stream series. If you've been watching us back when we did those original walkthroughs...
It's like over 10 years ago.
I had to do a double take. So this is where a whole bunch of the level is actually underwater. What the hell are these things?
I don't know if I'd actually do it, but I think I've said this before, but part of me kind of would think it'd be fun to remodernize Star Crystal.
It could be, but at the same time, I would definitely be in favor of you just making another map, though.
I mean, yeah. Oh, those are dolphins.
Because like
that look like Zora.
Oh yeah, that's. I couldn't even realize that they were supposed to be dolphins. Where the hell am I in this dungeon, bro? I'm lost.
But yeah, I mean, at the same time too, is like it could also just be fun to make a new map that's just better, that improves on everything.
Because at the same time, like, yeah, we can make the mechanics slightly better, but there are also like, I will just admit there are a lot of design flaws with the game. So, like, I would not design it like that today.
I mean, I do have ideas for an adventure map, but it's way too much for one person to work on.
Did I what the hell happened here? Did I forget to fill this area with water? Huh. this whole room is supposed to be filled with water. But then it's also water on the bottoms with whirlpools in it, so I don't know how the heck you represent that. But at least this was supposed to be full of water.
Huh.
There's actually a lot of broken shit in here. So what are you up to?
Yeah.
We're exploring Oracle of Ages. So like this is another map that I did make, completely solo, not playable unfortunately, but definitely still fun to explore. Because this is essentially. It's a shame Zelda hasn't gotten any official marketplace map. Because I still play Java Edition is the thing, so I'm not familiar with what's on the Microsoft Marketplace. But like Mega Man like released like an official one. That's pretty That's pretty crazy, bro.
Well, then they've also done like special collaborations. Like they have a Mario collaboration.
That is true. That is true. Nothing for Zelda.
So yeah, surprisingly.
I mean, that would be pretty darn sick if they did remake a Zelda game in this. So this is going to be the present version of it, which is purple and smaller for some reason. There's like no real underwater bits. This is definitely a lot of people's favorite dungeon in the game. I like it. It's not one of my favorites, maybe just because it feels smaller, even though it's actually massive between the past and the present. Maybe just part of me just likes having being able to have like the entire map in my head and just having, this is the space I need to inhabit. I don't know why. I don't know. I was basically watching like somebody rank, and me saying this could be entirely based off of one ranking video that I saw. Also check out this hella sweet open room in here at the mermaid's head. Wait, is that actually the mermaid's eyeball and mouth? I'm like just now realizing that. I think this wall might be part of that. These open rooms look pretty darn sweet though. I think that's cool for this spot in the game though. Because at this point in the game, you will have the mermaid suit, so you can swim to your heart's content. So now we're actually going to go to the last area that I built, even though it's not the last area of the game. And that's going to be the little Zora area. Zelda more likely to have texture pack collabs. Yeah, Zelda game in Minecraft. I mean, like, this is just a recreation, for instance. So, like, even if it is just something like this, where it's like a recreation of some of the 2D games, that wouldn't be super crazy. Like, you can see the base. If you turn up your render distance, you can see the entirety of the map here. At least the present, you can. There is like the past one way far away, but point stands. So this is like the whole undersea part. This is where things are. This is probably the weirdest spot in the map in my opinion, because it looks pretty okay on top, because you can like see like, oh, there's like the rocks that jut out of the sea and stuff with all the slime and stuff. But then at some point you have to dive underwater. Do I not have the underwater? Ah, man. I did not download an underwater picture in time, unfortunately. But kind of the point being is, again, this is a remnant of it being a really weird 2D game, is I'm going to go under here. Oh, God. Like, this is supposed to be like slime, but like it's just going to be like a big old blocky pile of slime here with these rocks that jump forward. And like there'll be parts underwater here where like, okay, if you dive underwater in the 2D game, there's like this coral function. There's like this little coral spot that looks very distinct and has a very distinct look to it. But then on top, you just see these rocks. So I had to do these like weird creative liberties where the rocks just stop. The rocks just stop and then the coral things start, just because that's how it looks in the game, bro.
Floating rocks.
And giant walls of coral too. Oh, this is like a very interesting one where I like took like one little piece of the texture from one of the coral bits and pasted it onto this rock. And it's kind of hard to find your way around because it's so absolutely covered in pollution. I'm at the wrong spot in here. We are over here in the map. Here's like the little library area where it's unlocked. I think we're finally getting to the Oracle of Seasons soundtrack now because I can hear the title screen music going. So you're diving up and around here, going through all of these caves, warping back. This is the point where you can actually warp back and forth in time at your own will without having to use like any weird portals and shit. So it definitely makes it a challenge to get around here, especially when I can't warp like myself. But then eventually you'd be able to make your way down here into the Zora village. Effect give the nerdy ninja night vision infinite 250 true. That does make us see a little bit better. This is where this is where things get really weird, because again, underwater you have like these lamp things, but then above ground you have just completely solid ground that again just stops. I did what the game told me to do, okay? I'm sorry. So this is probably the spot in the game that I'm kind of embarrassed by. I would love to see if somebody that's like just a better builder than me would just have like better ideas for how to make this look a little bit more natural while still staying true to how this 2D game looked. I don't know. Would have been sick. Here's the King Zora spot. You have waxed block of copper, which is not retextured for some reason. Weird. We'll show it off. I think we'll show it off in the past in a second. I think we'll, yeah, I'll let you guys explore it in the past actually, because it doesn't look that different, honestly. But we do get to see my favorite dungeon in the game. It is the Jabu Jabu Man, bro, where the dungeon literally is in the shape of a fish. This guy was fun to build, I would say. Because I did take a picture of him. It's like, this is what he's supposed to look like in game. Where I know like his sprite in the 2D game is all orange. But if I made it all of orange blocks, you would not be able to tell what the hell this thing is. So I think I actually built it based off of his colors in Ocarina of Time. Because like he doesn't look that.
Nice.
Because I think his overall design is pretty much based off of how he looks in Ocarina of Time. So I used those colors where he's like gray and has like this like yellow headdress with some jewels on it. And his body just kind of, okay, he does have fins, but his body for the most part kind of just extends into the wall. Which I guess I just didn't feel like building out his fins. I'm sorry. But anyway, we get to enter Jabu Jabu's belly for an absolutely crazy dungeon where it literally is basically Ocarina of Time water temple, but 2D. Shit gets fucking crazy. And I honestly had so much fun on my stream when we were playing this when I was playing this actually. Like, I'm like, hell yeah, this is the classic challenging to navigate dungeons that I have missed from some of the recent Zelda games being kind of easy on the dungeon side.
Yeah.
So I basically started, so like this is the dungeon where like you will be upping and changing the water level constantly, and you start with just the first floor that's underwater. And then thankfully we can actually rise up and swim through here to get up to the second floor, which I think is actually where the boss is too.
I'd say for me the best dungeon in recent memory would be like,
yeah, up here,
the Light Temple from Tears of the Kingdom, but it was just short. They didn't really utilize the light bouncing mechanic enough.
I've only played that game once, so I kind of forget a lot. I mean, I will say the first dungeon that I did in that game was very memorable. I really liked the Wind Temple.
I mean, yeah, as I understand it, that's a lot of people's favorites because they really like the build up to it and the dungeon itself, which I can totally agree. And usually, and like you are kind of directed to go there first. You don't have to, but it's
You are,
kind of
yeah.
they kind of tell you to go there first.
It is a very good first impression. I think especially because it
is.
probably reminds a lot of people of the sand ship from Skyward Sword, which was like also like on a pirate ship thing, and that's like that's like an absolute fan favorite dungeon because it's fucking sick. The dungeon is a realistic looking pirate ship. That's awesome.
Yeah, and then my big issue is the water dungeon in the Tears of the Kingdom. It's literally non-existent. It's literally just like a single platform with like a boss fight and like some random offshoot things.
Yeah, it is not
like that. That
great.
was a huge letdown compared to all the other dungeons in that game.
Bro, check this out. So like, this is one of the complaints that people have with this dungeon. Actually, is like people would find it very hard to visualize the changes in water level for a 2D dungeon. But in a 3D space like this, you can absolutely see it because like this is the room I'm in where it's just a fucking black pit. You can't see through that. But because this does actually line up perfectly, Capcom did design this correctly such that it would make sense. You can see the platform and would be able to slightly better picture like, okay, this would actually raise up with the water level potentially. It makes it slightly easier to tell anyway. But then I think up here is where the actual buttons are that you would end up switching. They would end up switching the things. Wait, where am I? Here they are. This actually did kind of confuse me lately with the path I took through the dungeon. Why did I make these out of different blocks? Why did I use different blocks for these? That's weird. It's literally right next to each other. I should have seen this. These aren't in separate rooms. Whatever, me. Okay. Also, these are redstone ore blocks, so they're glowing. Beautiful. It's like I thought one of these buttons brings the water up to level 2 and the other one brings it up to level 3, but I think it's actually like if you want to bring it to level 3, you have to step on both. It's weird like that. And even though I've played this game like 5 times, I feel like I only realized that in my last playthrough on stream. So that was really weird. So now we're in his tail fin with a big long path over to the boss key over here. Hell yeah, best dungeon in the game. Don't at me. Top 10 Zelda dungeon easily. I'm one of the cretins that actually likes the water temple. So then the final area before the final dungeon, I guess most of this is in the past actually. Yeah. Okay, because in the present, that is so weird that the entire area changes that drastically. Where it's like in the present, this is just like a graveyard that is like fully attached to the land and looks really natural. But in the past, it's like completely flooded with this random ass building tomb thing in it. Yeah, that's weird. The area changes a lot in 100 years. So instead, so basically in the present, at some point there have been like absolutely massive earthquakes such that the actual landmass basically adds like 25% of its volume in 100 years. That's ridiculous. I guess it's more like a volcano eruption, maybe. Maybe that's more accurate.
Yeah.
I guess there is like a tiny volcano over in Symmetry City, but all the lava went to the right, specifically. That tiny little volcano made... Oh, Jesus Christ. Alright, so yeah, there's like this whole little maze thing here. I don't know how I could better build out these statue things to better indicate that these things are liftable in the actual game. That would be weird. I mean, this is kind of an area where it's pretty short. There's not a whole lot of things that you have to do before the last dungeon. But now you get to the Ancient Tomb, which I was also kind of surprised by. I guess it's not super linear, but it definitely is. You definitely do take each floor in a very explicit chunk. Or it's kind of like a pyramid almost, where you start on the top floor actually. Why the hell did I make this guy glowing eyes? This looks like, oh my god, that's kind of terrifying actually. You'll see it in the stream delay how I made the owl look. So I think you actually do work your way down this way specifically, and then you're like completely done with this small first floor. Then you can kind of tackle basically the entirety of this second floor actually, which does make it look a little bit more open, which is cool. But we're also getting kind of claustrophobic in these little elevated portions here. Why is this like this? Where am I? This should not be blocked off. I have uncovered another mistake. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. A thing looked like it was blocked off when it was not. Yes, but then I feel like you kind of do like this entire second floor, and then this whole last floor is you trying to find 4 like slates to open up this thing in the center, and you basically can just go to each corner in basically whatever order you want. But it was surprisingly easy from what I remember from my stream actually. Like this is where you would insert the slates that you find in like each corner of the dungeon. See, I think they all are like just flat out in the corner. Did I actually put anything in the chest? I put wheat seeds. Why'd I put? Oh, because that's a gaseous seed. That's a gaseous seed area. And then you'd finally find nothing. A lot of these things just don't have a lot of these things just don't have equivalents in the texture pack that I could put in there. At least I didn't think very hard about it. Let's see, is there any other like particularly cool looking room? There's always lava shit that looks fun. I like lava. Fire types are my favorite Pokemon. I like the color red. That's why I like lava. That's about the extent of it. I will say I'm actually looking forward to going to the Sword and Shield maze. That's the last dungeon in Oracle of Seasons that I think looks freaking sick actually. I mean, that's pretty much the last dungeon in this game, though you will I guess I'll go back to the slate. So like once you get all the stuff in the corner here, you're able to jump down. Looks like we are in a little bit of a 2D section. It would be dark, but I did give myself infinite night vision. And that finally takes us down to the bottom floor. We're able to fight Ramrock, which is one of the coolest, was one of the most interesting bosses in the game by far. And get our final thing. What I stick in here? I stuck the Nether Star in here. Is that actually accurate? What's the thing you get? It is the star. It is the star thing. So I did actually put the accurate item in here. Hell yeah. All right. I think with that though, we are almost done, and we're going to the final boss, guys. So we're gonna go to Labyrinth in the Past because that's actually the only spot where you can build it. I guess the other interesting part about this game too, actually, is if we made this playable, we would have to build the tower over time. But you'd go back to the Maku tree. Oh yeah, I'd never actually showed the baby Maku tree. Look at it. It's so freaking adorable. What's she supposed to look like? Here she is. Here's her little arms, her beady little eyes. I can't really do a smile. That wouldn't really work out too well. But you got the little flower on top. So only so much detail that you can do with I mean, this actually almost reminds me of what the Deku tree looked like in Ocarina of the baby Deku tree looked like in Ocarina of Time in a way, where it did kind of look a lot more derpy because it also wasn't as animated with the crappy N64 graphics. I think with that, we're gonna head up into the Black Tower and we're gonna do the full walkthrough, man.
Nice.
So this would be originally.
The stair maze.
Bum, bum, bum. Got the heart piece. So you actually cannot walk through this place in the present. There's no way to get into Ambi's tower in the present. Oh, look, a dirt block I forgot to... A little dirt spot I forgot to fix. Damn. So you would actually be able to jump in here pretty early in the game, actually, and you'd, like, see some of the work... I think you'd see some of the workers through here working on it, and then you have to end up getting, like... I forget what you get in here. I forget which item you end up getting in here. But eventually, once you get all the things, you're able to move a little bit further past. Basically through, like, all of these, Actually, does this area look different? Does this area look different later in the game? I forget. Oh my god, these things. I don't have a picture of what these things look like, but this is hilarious. These things are absolutely hilarious looking. These, like, statues that have, like, all these sharp teeth and shit. This is basically us just going through, like, a gauntlet of some of the most powerful enemies in the game as we work our way up, as we just spiral our way up this tower. This tower that's actually underground. Don't tell anybody. So we're working our way up, Oh god. And this part here. Oh yeah, I do remember this part where you, like... this is the part that you saw me struggling at, actually. Was trying to find our way through these stairs that just go up and down, and it's hard to tell where they are. It might be like, it might make it inherently easier that it's in 3D, actually. It's just broken shit in here. I don't know if that's because of what I did in this world, but... There's way more broken shit in here than there should be, and I apologize for that, good sirs. So is this finally how we make our way up to the right way to get out of here? And then this pretty much should take us to the final boss area. Can I actually bring... I'm actually gonna bring this back to... I'm gonna bring the soundtrack back to a good spot. Darkness spreads. Epilogue. Black Tower. Yeah. I'll actually play the Black Tower theme to finish us off. Oh god. Okay, so this room, Spencer, this is the one that was with those, like, fire sprite things, and you had to pick the right one to go up. And again, because I want these to be all connected, I made them all ladders instead of stairs, and you have to track which one they go up. I was confused because I was watching the other video of somebody playing this, and it's like, what's with all these? Why are these just black? And that's because they're, like, the wrong way, and they're supposed to, like, teleport you to the wrong thing, and maybe I just didn't know how it was supposed to work. Like, what's the right one that you're actually supposed to go up? I actually don't know. So I guess I just made it go straight up here. I don't think this ladder exists. So maybe I was just, like, really confused with how it works. Because I guess these ladders are all supposed to be, like, kind of teleporty. So this might be one of the spots where it doesn't technically line up in the actual map. Probably because there is no dungeon map for this area. So that's not how it would work in the game, but it's how I created it for this recreation, so you could just explore all of it. And now here's kind of this final really weird open area with all of these big scary people in it. And you can eventually work your way around here to get to the proper final boss chamber. This is where you would fight this is where you would fight the final boss, at least the first stage of it. And then here's the second stage back here, which you kind of just teleport to. Yeah, because you kind of just get teleported here. There's no real way to walk there in the real game. This is the final boss chamber, which unfortunately is just a normal ass dungeon looking room.
Yeah.
with absolutely nothing in it. I swear there's a cool looking boss in here. Wait, this takes us to the present? Wait. Oh, never mind. It was just the color of the sand, so I got kind of confused. I thought we were in the present for a second. Well, we got the credits themes going again, and I think that's actually where we're going to end this. That is the last spot. That is the last spot in this area. We went through basically all of the areas. We didn't go through every single cave. I guess we'll finish this off. I'll make Minecraft big again. We'll get rid of the little pictures screen here. And we'll get a nice little overview shot. This is the entirety of the Oracle of Ages overworld in the past. Hell fucking yes. There's the map of it over there. And we got the credits themes going. I'm so glad I went back to, I'm so glad I went back to that in the soundtrack that we were looking at. And here is a big ol' aerial screenshot of Labrina in the present. Labrina Island, which I don't think is actually an island, but it is now. So thank you guys for joining us on this stream today. Next week, we will be continuing the Legend of Zelda Oracles series. We will be doing Oracle of Seasons 3-heart run. It is not a linked game, which I will probably mention about this too, as I don't think I have the linked game area in this. Sorry. So we will not be fighting Ganon, but that's because we can't do it with 3 hearts. We have to do it with 4 hearts. That would be against the rules. So I'm just going to have to beat Onox legit. No linked thing. No level 3 Master Sword. We're just going to have to suck it up with that level 2 at the end. So I will see you guys next week as we will start Oracle of Seasons 3-heart challenge. It's probably going to be a lot harder. It's focused on combat. Wish me luck.
That final boss.
Yep. I'm looking forward to it. Peace out, y'all. Like the video, subscribe, per favore.